Okay, so let's just get into this crazy, crazy story coming out of Vancouver. Meghan Murphy, she's a Canadian writer, journalist, now a politician, a feminist, and she often critiques the sex industry, exploitation of women and media, censorship, and of course, gender identity. So she's like persona non grata here in Canada. But she has had her bank accounts frozen here in Canada. So she was going to be running with the PPC during the federal election. Everything lined up. She was good to go to start campaigning. She actually lives in Mexico. So I have her Substack pulled up here, where
Yeah.
she explains she left Canada in January of 2021, like many of us wanted to do. I
Mhm.
have family that fled to Mexico and has been there ever since. They love it. It's a great time.
Mhm.
Anyway, so she left Canada in January of 2021. She's been there ever since. She's been living her best life there. And then now she decided to run with the PPC in the federal election. She was
Yep.
approved, everything was good. So she was planning to come back to campaign in her riding of Vancouver East in British
Yes.
Columbia. And coincidentally, so I think it's the fifth paragraph down. She says, my candidacy was confirmed officially on Tuesday. That same day, I tried to access my bank account, her Canadian bank account, and could not. Contacted her bank, which is Van City, and was informed the account had been frozen as per direction from the government. I had accessed my account just 2 days prior, so the timing was clear. I'd not been informed of this freezing by anyone, not the bank, not the government. No one attempted to contact me. I was completely blindsided. And so she goes on to continue here that she had her flight booked back to Canada today. And so that was, I think, yesterday or the day before, which she canceled because she says
She
here,
has
if
no
my
money.
bank account is frozen,
Can't get
I
her
can't
money.
operate in the country. And then she's, of course, very concerned about what awaits her when she and if she were to come back home.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
So
decided it
then
wasn't worth
yeah,
the
so
risk
then
of
she goes to try
persecution.
yeah, she tries to figure out what happened with the bank. She tries to get in
Yeah.
touch with the bank. Nobody can answer her questions. Nobody answers her calls. She can't get any explanation. The guy that actually froze her bank account went on
Yeah.
vacation for a week. So there is no answers and she can't access her money. So Canada again, good thing Tamara, good thing we have a big banker in charge of the country,
Hmm.
who could fix problems like this. But no, like I guess the truckers aren't the only ones, and the supporters of the convoy aren't the only ones that are getting their bank accounts frozen. But this should terrify every
Yes.
Canadian that's listening, because if you dare run for public office to do something to undo the harms that you see with your own eyes occurring in the country of Canada, you know what they're going to do? They're just going to take all your money away arbitrarily without notifying you, and then not give you an avenue of recourse to be able to access it again. I mean, Meghan Murphy has been an outspoken critic of the gender industry in Canada for 10 years. I don't think there's anybody who's been at it longer than her.
Hmm.
And this is what they're doing to women. So this what's happening to Meghan Murphy is dovetails perfectly with what happened to Natasha Graham.
Hmm.
They're punishing women for stepping out of line, and this is the state of affairs in Canada. It's egregious. It's
I
egregious.
interviewed Megan, I think once, if not twice, in Toronto, and I think then also at the Canadian Christian College. Absolutely lovely
Yeah.
woman, well
Yes.
spoken, well educated, articulate, and who better to run for political office than
Yes.
someone like that, who can
And she's
speak, who can think?
yes. Yep. And she said she is running for the PPC party because she
Yes.
cannot, in good faith, vote for a party that does not know what a woman is. And you know what? Good on her. Good
Yeah,
on her.
there
And
it is.
and there are a great many women, even in Vancouver East, even on the woke left coast, that will support Megan. But only if we can get her back into the country, only if she can access her own bank account and her own money. But yeah, again, this should set your teeth on edge, Canada, that this is
Mhm.
happening.
Well, if it wasn't any indication of, again, and I keep going back to the Freedom Convoy, but when those bank accounts were frozen, I mean, here we are for 3 years later,
Yeah.
and it's the same old, same old. Like, have we learned nothing about how the government conducted itself? And, I like that Meghan in her article also points out, she says it's worth noting that the freezing of my bank account at this precise moment constitutes election interference. And, we have to be careful
Oh,
on
yeah.
YouTube because we can't, we have to, you have to be careful about election misinformation. But now she's prevented from returning to Canada to campaign in her riding. So, if we're going to infer what that really means here, that would be election interference.
Yes. Yes, it sure would. And I
Yeah.
think that it also just highlights that Canadians as a people have no rights as it pertains to accessing your own money. If the government doesn't like what you're doing, they will slam the brakes on you and you will not be able to do anything. I mean,
Yeah.
this is communist China level screwery that's happening to Meghan
Yeah.
Murphy right now. And and we should all be concerned. I mean, is everybody right now in their heads thinking to themselves, "Oh, I wonder if I've done a thing that upset the government?" Well, here we are, Canada, with the government shutting this woman out of her own bank account so that she can't
Hmm.
upset the government more. This is insane. It's insane.
Yeah.
If Mark Carney had any uh had any morals, had any moral bearing, he would see this story and demand all of his banker friends get on this to make sure that this didn't happen if he was going to defend democracy. And
Hmm.
yet, have we heard
All of
anything
them.
out of Mark Carney? Have we
Right.
heard anything from him? No.
Yeah. No.
Absolutely not.
Of course
Absolutely
not.
not.
No, he's too busy mingling with Beijing and the Chinese Communist Party of the Chinese Communist Party members.
Yes.
So
Want to stay on top of the latest current events but don't trust the mainstream media to help you do that? Then check out our daily live stream coverage of the latest news and totally unscripted at rebelnews.com/roundup.